Ridgecrest. I will go ahead and get our meeting called to order at 5:32 p.m. Before approval. Roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Bruin?
Here.
Mr. Blades? I was looking at Solomon's spot going, well, he's not next. Why can't I? Mr. Blades?
Present.
Mr. Heyman?
Present.
Mr. Gorman?
Here.
4 present with Mr. Rajaratnam excused as he is in France.
I thought he was in England, but he's
nice.
definitely in Europe.
There you go.
Next item is our approval of our agenda. I believe we do have one change to the agenda.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. Staff would request that the revocation hearing for Super 8 and Heritage be taken off calendar, please.
Okay, that's item number 4, which is the public hearing will be removed from calendar. Is there any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the agenda as edited?
I move to approve with the edit of removing item number 4.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second.
Mayor Bruin? Why do I keep on saying this?
Say roll call. Aye.
Mr. Blades?
Aye.
Mr. Heyman?
Aye.
Mr. Gorman?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
Okay, we will now be closing into closed session. We have one item, which is conference with legal counsel for 2 cases, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, City of Ridgecrest versus Heritage Living, and City of Ridgecrest versus Super 8 Hotels. We'll return to our regular session at 6 p.m. See you then. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will return now to our regular session. If I can ask everyone to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Travis, you want to lead us? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Rajaratnam is not here to do the invocation. Would a fellow council member like to lead it? I hear no volunteers, so I will simply do it simply. Probably not my best, but please take whatever form you'd like to show your faith. Dear Lord, thank you for this evening and thank you for this incredible city. Thank you for all of our staff that work so hard to make the citizens' lives better in our community. Thank you for the incredible democracy which we have as a nation and for all that you've blessed this nation with. Thank you, Lord, for our family, our friends, and everyone who supports us, and let us all make good, reasonable decisions in our process tonight. In the Lord's name, amen. Amen. Invocations are not my best strength.
You did great.
Okay, next is attorney's report out of closed session. Martin.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, council members. 2 items were taken. Existing litigation, City of Ridgecrest versus Super 8 and Heritage in LLC. No reportable actions were taken by the council in closed session.
Thank you, sir. Next item on our agenda is public comment of items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Council will not respond to any public comments, but may provide direction to staff to collect information. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not act on any item that does not appear on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment section of this is limited to 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name. Is there any public comment from the floor? Seeing none, is there any public comment on the phone? Caller, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes, this is Renee Westa Lusk. I'm calling in to express my deepest appreciation and thankfulness to our mayor, Eric Bruin, and the other city councilmen who have been on our councils for the last 2 sessions since December 2020. I want to thank you for all your many accomplishments and the tackling of big problems our city has had to deal with during these 4 years. I also want to say thank you to the city staff and the city manager and the department heads for their hard work as well. I have been watching city council meetings on and off and attending a few here and there since I moved into the community in 1990. And I have never seen a more active, accomplishing two sets of city council in my whole existence in Ridgecrest. And I just want to say thank you. Most of your accomplishments are so numerous. I'd like to have a list, just list them all, but I just think that we've had the greatest two councils and the greatest leadership under Eric Bruin the last 4 years. And I can't thank you enough. I've lived here long enough, and we have the best of the best. And I want to thank you for all your hard work. It has not gone unnoticed. And may everything keep going smoothly and well for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other callers on the phone? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public comment section. Next item is council announcements or direction. Mr. Blades?
Nothing.
Mr. Raymond?
None.
Mr. Gorman?
No.
I have one, which, again, thank you, caller, for your kind words. I did appreciate them. I'm going to cover it, absolutely. So tonight is a special day that we get to experience every year, and it's an interesting look at the history of our community in a lot of ways. And that's because November 22nd is Charlotte Brightman Day. And every year since we originally declared the day in 1997, Bob Brightman, who I believe is the son, has sent flowers to the city in appreciation. And so every year, right about this time in November, a set of flowers will show up here. And I'm going to read Bob's letter once again because it just encompasses what the Charlotte Brightman was and why this is such a unique thing to a community that it's still being recognized now here 27 years later. It says, our family moved from New York to China Lake in 1948 when my father, Jack Brightman, was employed helping to design missiles at the Naval Ordnance Test Station. Although he passed away a few years later, my mother, Charlotte Brightman, remained in California and was employed on the base. In 1997, when she departed the Indian Wells Valley, the City Council declared November 22nd as Charlotte Brightman Day in the city of Ridgecrest. It was meant to recognize her many years helping others in the community. No one anticipated that she would pass less than a year later after moving to Ventura. The City Council's thoughtful gesture of declaring a day in her honor was a very special tribute. As a means of remembering this day, we are delivering flowers to brighten the City Hall as our mother brightened the lives of those around here. We extend best wishes to the City of Ridgecrest and the entire Indian Wells Valley. And signed by Bob Brightman, Burroughs High School class of 1964. Bob, thank you. Hopefully you're watching and once again saw that we were excited to recognize your mom and all of the history. But more importantly is that's a great testament to the incredible longevity our community has with our citizens and how we have always worked together to come together for things. And I hope that we continue to do that for many years to come. So thank you for once again recognizing Charlotte Brightman and for allowing us all to remember her today, 27 years later. So thank you. The other one I wanted to mention is December 7th is going to be a busy day in Ridgecrest. I encourage everyone to get up at 6 a.m., go run a half a mile, to get your blood going, because you got a lot of places to be on that day, because December 7th is the kickoff of Santa's Art Shop at the Desert Empire Fairgrounds, which is another one of our great annual events, and I encourage everyone to go out there and see all the incredible handcrafted goods that are made. And remember, all those handcrafted goods are sold in Ridgecrest, so those are great to bring people into a town and bring commerce and opportunity. The other one, of course, is our tree lighting, which that evening we'll be celebrating our tree lighting. We've got a great plan. Our team has been working to make another great event. Anybody who came out last year, I hope we'll have even more people. I know there's going to be a choo-choo train, so I'm very excited to know that's happening. And I think there's going to be a big tree with lights on it. I'm confident of that as well. Beyond that, they have kept me in the dark as to all their other secret plans, because Christmas is such a wonderful time of year. I want us all to be able to enjoy it and celebrate it. And I encourage the entire community to come out on December 7th. We will have another meeting in between them. But again, December 7th, Saturday evening, I believe it's 5? 5 p.m., and it'll be a great evening. Cookies, so many other things. I can't even begin to name all the things that I know that they've been secretly planning. I don't know all the details, though. Okay, I don't have any other council announcements or direction. We'll move on to the next item. Next item is our consent calendar. All items listed on consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before action is taken. I will now read the 3 consent items. First item is proposed action to approve the draft minutes of the Ridgecrest City Council special meeting dated October 30th, 2024. The second is proposed action to approve the draft minutes of the Ridgecrest City Council regular meeting dated November 6, 2024. And the third item is authorization for City Manager Ron Strand to sign the notice of completion for the demolition of Penny Pool site, for the city clerk to file the notice of completion, and for city staff to release retention in the amount of $16,250.00 to the contractor, Resource Environmental, within 30 days. Does any member of the council wish to have an item pulled? Does any member of the public wish to have an item pulled? Hearing none, do I have a motion for approval of the consent calendar as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second. Roll call?
Mayor Bruin,
Aye?
Mr. Blades,
Aye.
Mr. Heyman,
Aye.
Mr. Gorman,
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
Okay, next item on our original agenda was the public hearing that was pulled from the agenda at the start. Our next will be our committee reports. Our first one is City Org. City Org will be meeting on December 5th. We did not meet in November. Economic Development will be meeting on December 2nd. Finance met on last Tuesday, the 12th. I would say generally, everything looks great. From a financial perspective, we're continuing to work on the salary survey and getting that shored up. The only thing that I can say we are starting to see is we are starting to see a little bit of softening on sales tax as the base starts to wind down, but it's not significant enough to create any type of budgetary concerns. It is just a softening. But we also know that the state has historically, especially when they earn to budgetary cycles, they will hold back some money. So we have seen that cycle happen before. So I'm not calling judgment on it until we see what the future cycles look like, because they tend to short, big, short, big, short, big. If you think of a kind of they send you what they think they owe you. Hell, it's Kern County elections. Here's what we think is happening, and then we'll keep updating it for the next 4 weeks, or in this case, 90 days, and then they get us a final kind of reconciliation number. Anything else from finance on your side, sir?
Nope, I think you covered it.
Okay. Infrastructure will be meeting on the 28th. Parks and Recs will be meeting on the 3rd. And RECVB met today. Who has that report? Jen. Welcome to the hot seat.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I finally get to say that. So today we had our RACVB meeting, and hotel stays are up for the month. They've actually been on a trajectory of up for the past couple of months, and they expect that to continue through the holidays. Of course, they don't see the money on that until early in the next year, but that's great. And we had 2 presentations today. One was from Friends of the Fair. They were sharing information regarding RidgeCon that they hosted last year, the success that they had with that event, and then also their estimates for how successful that event could be going into the future. And it was a great presentation. I'm actually hoping that they'll find a way to share it on their new website, because it's excellent information. And they were requesting some financial help as well as support with marketing into the future. That brings in people from out of town, which of course RICVB is interested in. And I think that sky's kind of the limit with that. It's cool, it's so cool, because they tapped a market that we really haven't here. So that's something that they're gonna work on a partnership going forward. We also had a presentation from Leadership Ridgecrest. It's a program that happens in many other cities, but used to happen here and is now back, where they kind of take, I think we have 7 this year, into like an apprenticeship program where they get to see backstage view of how leadership looks in Ridgecrest. Last week, they got to meet with a bunch of the nonprofits in town. And so that report was overwhelmingly positive, and I'm hoping that that program will continue into the future because it helps train up new leaders. Filming is still slow. That keeps being the report after COVID. It is getting better, but slowly. They had one music video shoot last month out of the Pinnacles with minimal crew. I received a special request for information regarding the powwow, and that was also reported on today. The powwow this year was in conjunction with the Petroglyph Festival. The Petroglyph Festival, I get nervous and I get shaky, I'm so sorry. The Petroglyph Festival changed a whole lot this year. After hearing from the local tribes, which are extensive, the RACVB and Visitors Bureau, the Petroglyph Festival Committee, realized that they needed to pivot, and so they changed their plan and they changed their rubric for success. So this year, for the first time, they had full buy-in from 19 local tribes. They spoke with 20. They got 19 to show up. And out of those 19, they had 4 that had exhibitor booths present, and that's the first time that that's happened, where they were the main event. So in the past, our Petroglyph Festival has been kind of a street fair. The city's been doing great at kind of street fair type of events. Good job, city. And so there was less need for that and more need to pivot it to be a cultural event. So in doing all of that, they had to change what they were looking at as the outcome that they were hoping for to be more the buy-in from the tribes, and that's what they got. They did also have excellent attendance. It was windy and cold. I had set out at baseball the day before and was freezing to my bones and was not sure I was gonna go. And luckily, I was the only one who felt that way. They had 3,200 people attend over the 2 days. That's a huge turnout, especially for such a scaled down first year of this new format. So they're really feeling positive about how that's gonna go forward, and they're actually putting that leadership to steer that ship into the hands of those tribes that they're working with. I think that that's all of my report.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I don't have any questions, but I was just going to mention that, RidgeCon was a uniquely new event, and if anybody is interested in seeing some scalability, the Bakersfield Comic Con is this weekend, and I actually know that we're meeting with Steve Wyatt, who's the organizer of that event. One of my objectives was to work with the local con network to hopefully try and get some additional resources to help build that for the future, and hopefully the city will continue to look at that into the future. But I was able to make that connection and some other connections to hopefully raise the level for RidgeCon 2025. Okay, next, thank you, Jen. Other committees, boards, or commissions? The only one I have is LAFCO, and I have given them notice of that I'll be departing. They will be reaching out to the city for a nominee. I have suggested that Mr. Endicott would be the most appropriate based on his role. But that'll be for the council to make that decision. And we will have an alternate role coming up here shortly as well. So that we'll actually have 2 appointees to LAFCO, I believe in 26.
I'd have to look at the list. I'm not sure.
I believe it's 25 or 20, it may be late 25 or 26 where we will actually have 2. We have the primary and then we have the alternate.
Yeah, I thought I remember it being 26.
Yeah. Just as an FYI. And LAFCO will be, the last thing I will be doing for LAFCO for the benefit of the council is they are having a meeting in December, and I'm going to try and submit comments in regards to the third Wednesday scheduling challenge. I don't know if that will have any impact, but in regards to their meetings being held at 5 p.m. on the third Wednesday, which it's a direct conflict with ours, and that's why I've had to kind of back and forth do one meeting before and one meeting after. It's accomplishable, but it's a challenge as well. City manager report.
Yes, just one thing. As you know, our next council meeting is December 4th, and that normally is the time when we will swear in the new council and mayor. However, with the county certifying no later than December 5th, the decision was made to swear the new council in on December 18th. It just made sense. Swearing folks in is a very important event. Did not want to have it to where we had to cancel the swearing in because of the not being certified that night. So that decision was made. So we'll be having the swearing in during the second meeting in November, just FYI.
December
December, sorry. I don't know what month I'm in, we'll see.
18th.
Yeah.
Future agenda items. Any council members with future agenda items? I'm going to save my laundry list for December 4th, okay? It'll be like 16, 17 pages. We should get through it in 2-3 hours. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm trying to have fun. Mayor, council comments. We'll go right to left. Mr. Gorman.
Oh, I finally broke this one's neck. No, I didn't. Eric, sorry how, with regard to you, the election went. I'll miss you. You've been wonderfully patient and gracious, with me especially. I needed all of it. We're only halfway
I'm not going
through.
very far.
Oh, goody.
I still got a day job.
I think that's it.
Mr. Raymond.
No comments.
Mr. Blades.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to say a thank you to Renee Westelos. Those words were very kind. To compliment what she said, I want to add that this city staff, so it had been said over and over to me throughout, starting in 2020 all the way through today, that from prior council members, that if you have a good council and a good city staff, and the two don't always line up, but when they do line up, you see magic happen, and that's what's happened. The city staff has been excellent. They're usually always ahead of the curve, and then you had a good city council who's always trying to figure things out, communicating with the department heads. I don't know how other city councils work, and to be honest with you, that's not. I don't want to know. I know how this one works, and I know that it takes a couple of seconds for me to reach out to any department head, and they got an answer back to me within seconds. Unless they're sick, sorry, Narissa, sometimes I've caught you when you have the flu, but you still like, what do you need? But I appreciate that of all department heads, and the city manager allowing us to have that relationship. It's been fruitful, and I think it's been very beneficial to the community, us working together as well as we have. To Eric, I appreciate your leadership and your guidance thus far, because the amount of motivation that you have shown, I don't think has been seen in Ridgecrest in a very long time. And that motivation has enabled everybody to move at a pace that has been neck-breaking at times. The staff is, always at the risk of getting, falling over the tip of their skis. They're moving so fast. But that's because of the pace that you've set, and I appreciate that. And your patience with everybody up here on this dais is also noted. Thank you. But to add on to that, I will not be a part of your your laundry list of things. I'm going to be gone next meeting.
Okay.
So
You'll come back on the 18th, because I'm not going to get too sappy before the 18th, so.
oh, okay.
I'm going to try to avoid the sap.
All right, thought I
before it gets
missed.
too-
I thought I missed it.
Just wear boots on the 18th?
Yep.
Okay, that'd be a good strategy. Thank you, sir, obviously.
Yep.
I have all kinds of comments that I could start making. I'm not going to. Narissa, that 17 pages I said, pages 2 through 17 are for you. Anybody who understands that is I know that one of the people that I really challenged was Narissa from the get-go, because I just laid project after project after project after project at her feet, and I know that she can get the pocket park done, so I'm just gonna make sure that I have faith in her. I gotta do it till the end, come on, I mean.
We all drove her crazy. So
We all drove her crazy at some point. But I would just say again, it's been my honor and my deep thanks to be in this role, and I intend to see it to the end of the 18th. We still have a couple big things. I was very excited to get an RSVP for the ribbon cutting and reopening of labor and delivery on December 5th at the hospital. That's a huge step forward, and I thank the Navy for all their efforts in accomplishing that, and all the people that I got to work with on that project. I'm very excited we got to do the South Airfield, the See It ribbon cutting and opening, which was incredible, and thank you to just the amount of things that we are now going to be capable of doing on that base. In many parts, thanks to the earth shaking, is incredible. But more importantly, it's how the people have come together. You know, when we talk about how efficiently we've been as a city for the last 4 years, it's been equally incredible on the base and the amount of work that they've done over the last 4 years. I was saying we were getting very close to the Ridgecrest Renaissance, where we were coming out of that construction bubble and ready to grow, and I truly hope that that is the future for our community. I want to go and ask the parents one more time to this community. You know, there has been certainly over the past 30, 45 days, some serious differences in how parents and children are acting in certain areas that we're hearing. Thank you to the DI for highlighting the vandalism at the new bathroom. We put nice things in, people destroy them, it makes it much harder for us to continue to put in nice things. We've had obviously 1 or 2 tragedies, 1 or 2 headlines, 1 or 2 these that. Please, parents, remember that the most important thing, the most precious gift you're given by God is your children, and probably your spouse, and do your very best to try and raise them and keep an eye on what they're doing. We can do an incredible amount as a community, but vandalism and tragedies are something that we can do our very best to avoid. I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for bringing in Leadership Ridgecrest. I got a chance to meet with them. That was another great day, just talking to them about the future. We brought them up here and we had them play council, which was a lot of fun as always. I'm amazed when I see a 30-year-old woman having as much fun as a 10-year-old girl playing council. So that's always great to see. And then finally, of course, I want to make sure that I extend to everyone, please, if you're traveling, driving, anything of the above, please be safe. And to everyone, have a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving next week. We'll see you again on the 4th of December. And other than that, good night. 26.